NASA's James Webb Space Telescope has barely opened its eyes and already the universe looks completely new. NASA administrators announced that they have cracked open signals from the interstellar object 3I/Atlas, and what they reveal could alter everything humanity thought it knew about where it stands in the stars. When Webb pointed its golden mirrors at the distant traveler sweeping in from the great emptiness, the anticipation was humble. Gather more hints at the character of an uncommon interstellar visitor, as its antecedents 2I/Borisov and the enigmatic Oumuamua had done before. These objects provide astronomers with the unusual opportunity to observe the chemistry, composition, and distant past of other star systems, brought across immeasurable distances on a piece of rock and ice. They can inform us of how planets are created, how comets originate, and even suggest conditions near alien suns. But as Webb's cameras gathered streams of photons, something remarkable started to appear out of the frigid, crystal-clear background of space, patterns of light that all natural explanation was powerless to account for. Signals that bore a striking resemblance to artificial lights glowed where silence and darkness alone should have existed. If this kind of story touches your heart, if you're someone who cares about truth, responsibility, and speaking up for the voiceless, please like this video, subscribe to our channel and share it with someone who should hear it. Let's get started. The anomaly initially appeared ordinary, even disappointing. Data analysts marked it as noise, maybe a calibration artifact, a peculiarity of the equipment, or a cosmic ray-induced misreadout. But science's cornerstone is repetition, and repeated scans only validated the anomaly. The lights were not accidental. They had rhythm, an evenness that could not be dismissed as coincidence. In contrast to the wild spray of light bouncing off rolling ice, the emissions were consistent, unblinking and intentional, as if object itself radiated with purpose. Webb, designed to explore the dim atmospheres surrounding distant exoplanets and the first galaxies to form in the cosmic dawn, had instead found the potential for artificial light drifting in our solar system. That realization had a magnitude that swept immediately through observatories, universities, and laboratories globally. If the discovery was genuine, it was not only a scientific milestone but a watershed in human history. Artificial light meant engineering, and engineering meant intelligence. Intelligence meant that 3I/Atlas was not just a vagabond chunk of frozen material but maybe something designed, directed, or occupied. Just such a conclusion was barely imaginable, but the evidence ran deeper. Webb's near-infrared camera picked up spectral lines that did not match any known chemical fluorescence but instead matched intense, intentional light emission. It was as if within the body or draped across its surface were light-producing structures running with a precision no natural process could duplicate. For decades humanity had listened to the heavens with radio telescopes at Arecibo, Green Bank, and other places, hoping to hear a whisper from the stars. Again and again the hunt for extraterrestrial intelligence had come back empty, allowing skepticism to solidify. Yet here, not as sound but as light itself, was something immensely different. Light is universal, identifiable by any civilization. And Webb had taken illumination that was steady, concentrated, unrelenting, more reminiscent of the glow of a city from orbit than the fortuitous flash of a comet disintegrating. The use of light instead of radio asked deeper questions. If artificial, why radiate? Maybe because it is the easiest way to be seen. A civilization to span interstellar gulfs may not be familiar with our languages or expect our instruments, but they might expect that any technological civilization would observe a glowing object unnaturally in the void. In that way, 3I/Atlas may not be at all random but a message intended to be discovered. Or more disquieting still, it could be a probe, its lighting system serving in its purpose and not as a beacon, only caught because Webb's unparalleled sensitivity detected it. Natural causes were probed relentlessly. Could constant outgassing create such radiance? Could unusual chemical reactions on its surface simulate designed lights? All hypotheses fell when examined. Nature does not often reproduce patterns with such mechanical consistency. Wavelengths were too precisely aligned, energy distribution too closely channeled. The signals resembled the output of organized systems, not random processes. Cosmological astronomy rallied. Hubble and Earth-bound observatories pointed toward the object. Radio arrays came on board. None of them had the infrared accuracy of Webb, but a few started picking up anomalies, odd constancy in brightness curves, reflections too regular to be due to chance. Although partial, the plan was unmistakable. There was something about 3I/Atlas that hinted at design. Philosophical implications were tremendous. For millennia, humankind had speculated whether intelligence was a singular accident or an ordinary result of cosmic evolution. Now guesswork was overpowered by facts. This was not hypothesis but information, photons bearing evidence across space. The blackness above, once imagined to be empty and uninterested, now held others. Practical concerns flooded in. If 3I/Atlas bore technology, what form? Was its light a surface layer, an energy shield, or a leak from internal workings? The architecture suggested engineering past ours but still within possible bounds. Webb's instruments approximated its energy output, powerful, but not unlimited. That implied efficiency and purpose. There were guesses the light was communication, a series of binary pulses that formed a universal code. Others thought it was operational, such as navigation lights to avoid collisions. Another dark possibility envisioned it as internal, lighting from life support or power systems that were never intended to be visible to anyone outside. In all cases, one truth didn't change: intelligent beings had made contact with this object. The timing of the find amplified its significance. Humanity was poised on the edge of a new technological age, artificial intelligence growing, space exploration booming, and the Webb telescope itself created to provide answers to questions of origins, not neighbors. And then the universe responded in ways no one expected. The discovery turned interstellar objects from curiosities into potential emissaries. If one of them even carried technology, then maybe there were countless such artifacts in the galaxy, quiet repositories floating between stars, awaiting a vigilant eye. As word spread, fantasy was sparked. The idea of man-made light outside Earth jumped from journals and papers into the public imagination. Artists painted glowing extraterrestrial cities. Novelists wrote stories of ancient travelers. Common people gazed heavenward in fresh awe. Light, the same phenomenon that illuminates humanity's nights and marks civilization in the universe on Earth, now connected us to something not of this world across incomprehensible distances. It was a bridge, and it had been uncovered by Webb. Astronomers, ever skeptical, dissected each photon with reservations, but even the most conservative estimates couldn't deny the data was abnormal beyond history. Each calibration confirmed, instead of negating, the peculiarity. Webb was functioning without a hitch. The lights were genuine. They were not native. The implications bled into policy and strategy. Could humanity catch the object? Could probes be sent to pursue it? Like Oumuamua, 3I/Atlas sped through the solar system at tens of kilometers per second. Close observation would be almost impossible. Webb's glimpse may be the only one that humanity ever got before it was lost to interstellar darkness. That constraint added to the feeling of mystery. Proof of intelligence was eluding them, teasing, fragmentary, but unmistakable. Theology and philosophy shook in awe at the discovery. Questions of uniqueness, creation, and purpose returned. As probe, vessel, or relic, the light spoke of civilizations that could endure across galactic distances and withstand time. It reflected back to human aspirations, echoing across the stars a promise of what intelligence might accomplish. Each new examination only increased the mystery. Brightness variation suggested ordered surfaces, maybe spinning components or emission matrices. Wavelength stability implied designed materials not seen on Earth. But nothing was beyond possibility, advanced, perhaps, but on the same continuum as human technology. If they could pull this off, maybe one day we might as well. The find changed the place of humanity in the universe, not solitary pioneers cutting into an emptiness, but late arrivals into a theater already set. The lights were indicators that the galaxy teems with knowing. In closed-door sessions, scientists wrestled over how to talk about artificiality. The term had deep seriousness. Drafts and debates stalled, but the evidence would not be denied. Engineers hypothesized about potential mechanisms, nanoscale sources along the surface, power centers directing controlled glow, efficiency beyond our comprehension in energy systems. Others were taken aback by how precisely the brightness appeared to be calibrated, not visible to the naked eye, but unambiguous to instruments such as Webb. Might another civilization really be able to foresee our technology, or was it an accident? The chance that the lights had been intended to be found during this particular time was exhilarating and terrifying. Culture absorbed the shockwave. Media headlines blazed. Stories and art flourished.